have about 1.5 of these containers. Now, the most important thing when it comes to rice is make sure that we wash it correctly and gently. And the most important thing is make sure the chef has a glass of wine in his hand.
Oh yes. What about the cameraman?
And the cameraman, where's his?
I got a steady cam, so I'm
steady
pretty
cam.
safe
Okay.
here.
Now we want somewhat lukewarm water, and
oh yeah, lukewarm.
we
Okay.
want to be gentle with it. Now notice I don't stick my hands in the rice straight away. I just wet it all first. And then just gently roll it in your fingers. Don't break it. I mean, as Gordon Ramsay would say, make love to it, don't be gentle with it. Just let it roll. And you'll notice that there's a lot of starch that comes out.
Yeah, I see that.
The whole thing about rice is, as my mother used to say, when she saw ads for Uncle Ben, like, what's the point of that? You can't pick it up. And so you want to have a little bit of cohesivity, but not to the extent where it's like clumpy. So this process of like washing the rice is to get rid of as much starch as possible.
And this is your mother's recipe, right?
This is the way my mother used to do it.
Now Hari made this one time over here before, and I tried to reproduce it, and I realized I was out of my league. So this time I'm videotaping it.
The secret is to do this several times. You notice that the water will get clearer and clearer. So make sure that you clean out the water. It doesn't really need to be a particular temperature. Just whatever's comfortable.
This is the Western method.
Right.
112, 113.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of
But you can
warm, but not hot.
Right. But what you can see now, if you look at the grains of rice, they're beginning to get quite white. And that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that the rice is cleaned properly, so it gets rid of that dusky color.
I think I managed to steam up the lens there. There it goes, it's better. So that's actually starting to cook, isn't it? Just
It
ever
is,
so slightly.
yeah. Ever so slightly, it's going to pre-cook it. Now, most people will put in like twice the amount of water to rice, or 1.5 times. I normally put in 1.25, mainly because what we're going to do with this is, while we're doing the onions and everything for the pilau, we're going to let this sit in hot water, so it's going to cook. And you'll notice, once we're done with it, pay attention to the color now, and once we're done, the rice is going to be like brilliant white before we actually put it in.
Okay, so that's the before, right?
Right, that's the before.
Just starting to go.
Right.
Just a few grains here and there.
And depending on how much time you have, if you're just going to make plain rice, I'll wash it like this and leave it for about 20 minutes in hot water. And then you want to rinse it properly, and rinse it with cold water. Because otherwise you don't want it to cook too much before you put it in the pan. Again, just be gentle with it. See how it rolls through the fingers.
Yep.
You don't want to be like massaging in, trying to get it clean. That's it's not wash day down at the local river. So notice now, look at the color of the water. It's actually a lot clearer now.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, so now I'm going to put this water on as high as possible in terms of temperature. Ooh, that's hot. So I'm going to rinse it once with this hot.
So this would be, barely tolerable.
Right.
Just
as hot as, I mean, it depends on your house.
Would you even boil water in the kettle and pour it on?
No. That'd be too much.
I know some people have the water that hot coming out of their tap.
Yes, that is true. But hot enough that you can still bury it in your hands.
Yeah.
So you want to just put in enough that it covers the rice. We're going to put that aside for now.
Okay, so that's maybe a centimetre or two above the rice.
Well, it doesn't really matter how much it is, but we're going to put that aside somewhere over here. And we're going to come back to it in a little while.
Excellent.
Okay, so now we're going to go over and start on how to actually make the pilau. What we have here is about 1 onion that's thinly sliced long ways. You want to make sure that it's all broken apart. Yeah, just about a couple of teaspoons of ghee. Was this a tablespoon or teaspoon?
It was probably a tablespoon by the time we heaped it up.
So, we're going to warm this up a little bit, get it to a nice high temperature. You'll be able to see like little ripples in it pretty soon.
Yeah, I think they're coming through.
Yeah, they're coming through now. Now we start throwing the onions in. And you want to make sure that you separate all the onions. There you go. Lovely chopped. I'm going to grab another one of these spoons over here. Make sure that they're nicely covered. Now, one thing, a lot of people make a mistake when they're cooking onions is that they stir them too much. Let them cook. Give them time. We want these to be just golden brown. In the meantime, I have prepared the spices that we need.
Okay, so what have we got here?
We have some fresh bay leaves from Richard's garden. Wonderful. Oh, these are great. Also, we have about half a teaspoon of black pepper, whole black pepper, about a teaspoon of cumin, and about 4 or 5 cloves.
Whole cumin,
whole cumin and whole cloves. I don't like to put in cardamom. Some people like to put in cardamom. I don't. Yeah. And you know, when we're making pilau, this is, you know, the perfect time. That you wash the rice, and by the time that you do the onions and everything else, this is pretty much ready to go in. So, you know, it normally takes about a good 10 minutes to get the onions, depending on your stove. Obviously, gas is much better. Now, the one thing about cooking rice is you want to make sure that you have a wide pan as possible. You know, having a tall pan, you know, it just compacts the rice. So you want it as wide as possible.